What's shaking, Court Crew? Shout out to the Court Nation. It's Court Millions. Like and subscribe. Gonna have a lot of knowledgeable content coming. Sit back, kick your feet up, and enjoy the video. Kind regards.
No one has ever crossed Antarctica. Let that sink in. You can book a flight to almost any place on Earth, deserts, war zones, but not across Antarctica. Why? They say it's because of the cold. But the North Pole is cold too, and yet no one's banning trips there. Antarctica is different. It's not just a continent, it's a wall. A massive frozen barrier that surrounds everything we know. Centuries ago, ancient maps showed lands beyond the ice. Today, we're told those maps were wrong. But if they were, why are those same maps locked away in museums and private vaults? The Antarctic Treaty, signed by over 50 nations, makes sure no one steps past the edge. No explorers, no drone. No question. What are they hiding? Not dangerous creatures, not frozen ruins, but truth. Truth that we're boxed in. Truth that what's beyond the ice was never meant for us to see. Because if you ever made it past that wall, you might realize this world isn't round. It's a trap. Just a theory, of course. But ask yourself, if there's nothing there, why are they trying so hard to keep you out? They say Antarctica is just a frozen wasteland at the bottom of the Earth. But what if that's the greatest lie ever told? Every map you've ever seen is wrong, because Antarctica isn't a continent, it's a barrier, a massive ice wall that wraps around our world like the edge of a plate. A wall so high, so vast, it hides what's really beyond. And here's where it gets terrifying. In 1956, a group of scientists on a classified mission allegedly breached the ice wall. What they found was not more snow. It was green valleys, ancient structures, and skies with two suns. They called it Terra Infinita, the infinite land, a realm untouched by time where creatures long extinct roam free, where the laws of physics begin to crack, and the stars above are not the ones we know. One survivor made it back. He claimed the land was not uninhabited. He spoke of tall beings glowing with a faint blue light, neither human nor alien, but something in between. They communicated through thought, and they warned, you were never meant to cross. Weeks later, that survivor vanished, his notes were burned, his team never found. Since then, every expedition that strays too far either disappears or gets rescued before they can go any further. Why is the Antarctic Treaty so strict? Why is it the only place on Earth every superpower agrees to protect? Maybe because it's not just about ice, it's about containment, because what's beyond the ice wall was never meant to be seen.
Did y'all hear about what scientists said they found underneath Antarctica, y'all? So scientists say they just uncovered a 30-million-year-old landscape that is buried miles under Antarctica, y'all. They talking about they got rivers, ridges, valleys, all untouched for millions of years underneath the ice. See, shit like this make you think. Because if something like this can be buried under the ice, what the hell else we don't know about this world? It's so much we don't know. To me, this don't even make sense, because how are they just figuring out that it's something this massive under the ice? So the scientists are calling it a time capsule. A time capsule of what? So they say Antarctica wasn't always frozen, y'all. They said it used to be green. And they're saying, so underneath they got palm trees, they got pollen, they got microscopic creatures and everything down there. This is what I'm still trying to figure out. Why is Antarctica the most locked down place on Earth? The most secure spot? Why can't you go to certain places? They just told us it's stuff underneath, but what's beyond the ice? Every major power came to an agreement to protect this area. And that don't have y'all suspicious? That's not science, y'all. That's a cover-up slowly getting peeled back like a banana. I need y'all thoughts down below on this. And I need y'all to tell me, what do y'all think is really underneath this ice? And what's beyond the ice?
They don't want you to know this, but you can manipulate energy with nothing more than your focus and emotion. Every thought you think is energy. Every feeling you hold creates a frequency. And the universe? It's not responding to your words. It's responding to your vibration. You want to change your life? Stop trying to force outcomes in the 3D world and start shifting energy in the field. Visualize with intention. Feel it as if it's already real. Hold that energy long enough, and the quantum field must reorganize to match it. This isn't magic, it's science. Your energy is your signature. So ask yourself, what are you broadcasting today?
Now, this is so scary. Have you heard about the strange events happening along the drying Euphrates River? The Euphrates is one of the longest rivers located in the Middle East, but it is rapidly drying up. Large stretches have become nearly completely dry. Where it's drying, explorers have discovered bizarre caves and caverns underground that were previously submerged. Strange sounds have been reported echoing from within, like screams of unknown creatures. But here's the scary thing. The Bible was written over 2,000 years ago and predicts the Euphrates drying up. Revelation 9:14-15 describes 4 angels bound within the great Euphrates River, who are then released to kill 1/3 of mankind. If this prophecy is fulfilled, with 1/3 of the current world population being over 2.6 billion people, it would basically signal the end of the world.
When we landed on the moon, there was around that crater above where we landed, there were multiple ET craft that were just hovering there watching.
Yo,
And that is true. That's 100% true.
You're telling me when Buzz Aldrin stepped on the moon, he saw 5 extraterrestrial aircrafts.
Well, I
just
think there
watching
were
him?
more than that. That footage, highly classified. They say they've lost it. Oh, we lost the original footage from the moon landing. I mean, the most important event in the history of mankind. My dog ate the homework.
That is wild. You've seen the picture of them at the press conference when they got back? You can tell they're just like, yo, this, like...
We're freaked out. I invited Neil Armstrong to the Disclosure Project event at the National Press Club, and his really good friend of his, who was on my team, said he was informed that he, his wife, his kids, and his grandkids, one way or another, they'd end up in accidents or something. We were viewed as trying to go into space in a divisive and war-making way. I mean, the space program ostensibly was civilian, but it was really a proxy for the Cold War. That's the truth.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because,
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay,
actually,
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
this is
Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay, so this guy went from working at Lockheed Martin to build a dome promised to heal humanity through resonance. And right before it was completed, he mysteriously died and was cremated without his family knowing. Okay, so George Van Tassel, he worked as an aviation engineer for Lockheed Martin. He was supposedly contacted by this interdimensional being, did not like nuclear war, followed by a being telepathically gave him instructions to build something named an Integratron. It gets so interesting. This Integratron was centered around plasma. Yes, plasma, the fourth state of matter. It has metaphysical applications, he said. I'm also writing a book about plasma. The link is in my bio, but I just figured this out and I'm freaking. According to him and the being, the building was built to generate these magnetic fields that would result in the generation of plasma in the form of a coronal discharge and negative air ionization inside the building. It would help everything from anti-aging to possibly curing cancer. It had to do with a Tesla coil. The building would basically resonate with the cell's frequency, recharging the cells of a person, rejuvenating them. And right before he finished it, he literally died. And vanished. And I'm not into like conspiracies, but this one, like, I think is real. I also think it's real because plasma does have healing properties. I think he didn't achieve it. I guess maybe the government, whatever. Also had some weird doomsday prophecies, and that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because plasma reflects belief. I think this plasma stuff is magic. You just need a healed nervous system to be able to channel it and ground it in reality.
So we're all aware of the deep space signal that Earth has been receiving again, right? No? Well, you might want to grab your tinfoil hats because this one's going to blow your mind. But originally, this signal was received back in 1977 from the Sagittarius constellation and was met with a 50-50 reception from scientists, some claiming that it was in fact a direct message from a distant civilization, while other scientists claimed that it was nothing more than a natural phenomenon. Neither one of those theories were ever proven or debunked. So let's leave that there. But more recently, scientists and researchers, whistleblowers per se, have been coming forward allegedly claiming that that signal from 1977 has been sent to Earth again. And in fact, the original signal in 1977 was an invitation for Earth to join a galactic community of intelligent beings, to which we never responded, or so we've been told. Now, these whistleblowers are allegedly claiming that those signals that were sent were like a cosmic handshake of sorts to see if we, the human race, were ready. Now, ready for what? I don't have that answer, but to see if we were ready, to see how we...
Okay, if you're not ready to go for a ride, and I say this with peace and love, keep scrolling. Pentagon UFO whistleblower Matthew Brown just sent a very cryptic message to Elon Musk, and the message, I decoded it, and if I'm on the right path here, it'll make the hair on your arms raise. Let's get into it. So this post came straight from Matthew Brown's account last night, and he warns Elon that the US government already has a secret AI that can literally predict the future. He says Sam Altman betrayed Elon and that the first public sentient AI, they were silenced. The tone of it is very urgent. It's like Elon's being pulled into something that he's not prepared for almost. I don't know. But then it does seem to get deeper. He name drops agencies like the White House, FBI, Navy, Department of Energy, and the NGA. That's the guys who track stuff from space. He mentioned something called Marsupial. And allegedly, this is a Trump-era UAP briefing program, and he says that rockets are so 1947. The translation? Well, the government knows how these exotic crafts work, and they're lying about it. But then the post shifts, and this is where it gets creepy. So Matthew Brown shares a hand-drawn circle filled with strange symbols and references a word, Logith. That's not science fiction. It's from an Enochian magic, supposedly the language of angels used by John Dee to contact non-human intelligence. He then ends the post with a cryptic signature, ABORYMON, possibly a nod to a destructive intelligence from ancient texts. So now we've got a Pentagon link figure warning of classified AIs, hidden crafts, betrayal at the top of the tech world, and he layers it all with angelic alphabets and ritual symbolism. It doesn't feel like a rant. It almost feels like a signal or a warning. I don't know. Was he warning Elon, or was it maybe aimed at someone else entirely, using Elon as kind of the excuse?
Blow your mind. If Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, then who took the photo from outside? Why have we never returned to the moon, even though we now have technology thousands of times more advanced? If humans evolved from apes, why are apes still apes and haven't evolved as well? Why did 56 countries sign a treaty to do almost nothing in Antarctica? What is it they don't want us to know? Why can't planes fly over Antarctica? How did NASA manage to lose the footage of the moon landing, one of the most important events in human history? How were the pyramids and other massive structures built perfectly symmetrical and incredibly detailed when people at that time lived in huts and used the most basic tools? How did they manage it without machines or advanced technology? Why are there ancient Egyptian artworks that look like depictions of spaceships? How do we explain the remains of giant bones that have been discovered? What about the stories of giants in ancient texts, including the Bible? Why does ancient Egyptian art, along with other cultures, depict the shape of a pine cone that just so happens to look very similar to the human? Why do so many cultures across the world have legends of dragons, even though they were separated by thousands of years and vast distances? And why are dragons also mentioned in the Bible?
What you're about to hear is the real sound of Earth's magnetic field as recorded in space by NASA.
That's a wrap until next time. Keep rising, keep grinding, and keep shining like the sun. Every ending is a new beginning. I gave y'all that fire, now go light up the world. Stay up, stay up, stay up.